everyone, and welcome to Craft with Us. Today we're going to make this card that gives us an embossed look. First of all, I'm actually going to start with some really large number die cuts that I've got there. I believe I got those from Stampin Up, and some scrap paper. All I'm going to do is cut out a random amount of numbers. I'm actually making this card for a 10-year-old birthday card, but you could actually do this with any age at all. So you can see here all I'm doing is just putting some scraps. These are just some scraps that I've got of white card, popping on my dies, and I'm going to run them through my Cuttlebug. All right, there we go. So I'm going to start. This is my white card that I'm going to use on the top of my card. So I'm just measuring out exactly where I want all of the numbers lined up. Now, you could actually do this look with a random display of numbers. You don't have to line it up. I just decided that I would like to in this case. I've got a little bit of a precision thing happening. So you can see that I'm just measuring that. I'm going to put my number 10 down first, which I'm going to glue now. That's where I'm going to position my number 10. So I'm going to start with that and then just put a whole pile of other numbers around it. So I've actually just got some Aleene's tacky glue in my bottle. This is just a little dispenser bottle that I picked up for a couple of bucks from a $2 store. And I'm just going to glue that onto my card front. You can see that I'm doing this white on white because I want to get an embossed look without actually having put it through an embossed folder. That's because there was a specific look that I was after. And this is a great way to use your dies and your die cutting machine as well. If you don't have an embossing folder that has what you want, then you can give this embossing look by putting colour on colour. So now all I'm going to do, now that I've got my 10 positioned, which is, you know, the main number here, I'm going to put all of my other numbers, just, you know, not in any specific order, on my card. So you'll also notice that while I'm doing this, that some of them will hang off the edge. That's fine, we're going to cut them off. So you can see here that I've got them all on there, and I'm just erasing the lines that I had. Now I really want to make that 10 stand out, so I'm actually going to make a little layered number here. So I've cut out the ones and zeros a couple of times, another 3 times actually, out of the scrap white cardstock, and I'm going to layer them all on top of one another and then top it up with the blue, which is the colour that I'm going with. So before I add that to my card front, I'm just going to cut off all the edges. I'm trimming off all the extra numbers. Of course, you could save some of those and keep them for another project. I ended up just throwing them away because I keep too much for other projects. So now that I've got my base all done, my topper, I beg your pardon, all done, I'm going to put it on my base. So I'm going to use a black card to mat on, just a plain card to mat on my actual folded card. So you can see I'm just lining it up because I want it a little bit skew-if, just a little bit off. Just to add a little bit of more interest to the card. So I've just put it where I wanted it, and I'm just trimming it off. Now this is before I've stuck it down. You could stick it down first if you wanted to and then cut it off. I just did it the other way. So that's how it's going to be positioned on the mat that's going on the front of my card. This is just some craft foam because I've decided that I wanted it popped up a little bit. So I love craft foam. It's really good to be able to put on the backing to these sorts of things on your cards. So then when they go through the post, they'll stay nice and solid. You don't want to spend all of this time on a card and then have it, you know, not stay solid while it's in the post for it to get wrecked. So with my craft foam, I always just buy the white craft foam. In Australia, of course, we can get it at any $2 store, eBay. I just use glue and glue it on the back. So here I am, I'm just going to put my mat down on my card. I actually use double-sided tape. You can see that I'm just flicking over the corners of my double-sided tape. This enables me to line it up on my card front to make sure it's perfect. Once again, it's the precision thing. Then once it's in, I can press it down on those 2 corners where I've had the tape open, and then be able to stick it down, pull the tape out from the rest of it. Now I'm just going to put my 10, my 1 and my 0 that I prepared earlier on the front, and that's going on top of the white 10 that I positioned. So That's nice and easy to do. This is a nice card. You've just got to make sure that you've got a die cutting machine. Any die cutting machine will work. You could do it with letters if you wanted to do someone's initials on there, or if you had a short word, maybe joy, or it would work as well. I decided it needed something down the bottom, so I'm going to do the same sort of thing, except I'm going to give the happy birthday a little bit of an inlaid look, and then a embossed, same sort of embossed look with the words. So that's where I want it. Because I decided afterwards and I had attached everything, because normally I would stick that on and then cut it off like I did with the numbers. I wasn't able to this time, so because I decided after the fact. So I'm just drawing where I want it. You can see I use the ruler there, and I'm just going to cut those sections off, so that should fit beautifully on the bottom of my card. So now I've put it through my Cuttlebug machine. Because this is a detailed die cut, it didn't cut all the way through, which quite often happens. This will happen with all die cut machines. So I've just put a little bit of an extra piece of cardstock over the top where it needed a little bit extra pressure, and I'm running that through my machine again, and you can see that it's cut all the way through. So I'm just going to remove that. So I've actually cut that out of the piece that's going on the front, because I'm going to inlay the happy birthday in blue, which you'll see how I do that in a moment. So I'm taking that white out, and I'm keeping all the little pieces. So these are all of the pieces that go between the letters, or in, you know, like those ones are in the P's and stuff, because we're going to actually use those when we piece it together. So now I've got the white happy birthday that I pulled out, and I'm going to cut another one as well, and I'm actually going to use those pieces to give us that embossed look around the edges. You can see I've stuck them on there. Just trim those off exactly as the same way as we did the numbers. So now I'm putting tape, double-sided tape, completely over the back of my happy birthday piece. Now, you could actually use a single sheet of like jack paper, or the, you know, the paper that's double-sided, and put over there. I just didn't have any within hand reach at the time, so I've just used my double-sided tape, and you can see that it will work just as well. I've just covered that whole bottom piece with the double-sided tape. Make it nice and firm. Okay, I'm going to trim that tape off the bottom edge there where it just went over. I just wanted to make sure the whole area was covered. Now, unlike before where I pulled bits of the tape off and positioned, this one I'm actually going to pull all of the tape off. You can see that I actually burnished it first to make sure that the tape was really on that card nice and tight. I'm lining that up. We've still got that hole, the black hole there with the happy birthday. I'm going to pop in the blue one that I cut out. So that fits in pretty much like a jigsaw puzzle piece, well, kids' jigsaw puzzle piece. Doing the same with the happy, and I'm going to get all of the little pieces that I kept on the black card here and pop them in. So now I use my tweezers for this, but you can use, and I've got a little a stick, you know, like a little that's got the sticky stuff on the end that helps pick these up. Once again, it just wasn't within hand reach. So you can see there's my beautiful completed card. Happy birthday, 10-year-old.